Introduction: do it in silence. The hidden power of quiet discipline. You keep promising a version of yourself that no one has ever actually met. In your head, you know that version well. The focused you, the disciplined you, the consistent you who finally stops quitting after 3 days. You talk about that person. You post about that person. You plan for that person. But when you look at your real life, your mornings, your nights, your habits, that person is missing. You've been living loudly but changing quietly, and if you're honest, not changing much at all. You make big declarations. I'm back. New era. This time it's different. You tell your friends, you tell the internet, you tell yourself. In that moment you feel powerful, like something has shifted just because you said it out loud. But a few days later, boredom shows up. Old temptations show up. Your moods swing. Your motivation disappears, and your promises melt. Then the shame hits, the silence comes, and you vanish until the next dramatic restart. You don't have a motivation problem. You have a discipline problem. You have a too much performance, not enough practice problem. Your life right now is built on announcements, not evidence. On being seen as serious, not actually being serious. And you have a choice. You can keep running that same loop, hyped beginning, quiet collapse, repeat, or you can finally decide that your progress will no longer be a show. This audiobook is about flipping everything. From now on, your life becomes quieter and your results become louder. No more living like a walking trailer for a movie that never comes out. No more dressing up your potential and never cashing it in. The entire message of this program is simple. Stop performing discipline and start living it. Stop obsessing over who's watching and start obsessing over whether you actually did the work. You're going to hear me say this often. Attention is a drug. Discipline is a muscle. Attention gives you a quick high, a like, a comment, a you inspire me. Feels good, but it changes nothing. Discipline is slow, repetitive, often boring. It doesn't give you a rush, it gives you a life. Up to now, you've been chasing the drug. Here, you're going to learn how to build the muscle. Quiet discipline is not about becoming cold or heartless. It's not about cutting off everyone who cares about you. It's about this: you talk less and do more. You live by standards, not by moods. You repeat the same boring actions whether you're excited or not. You protect your time like it matters, and you stop needing the world to witness every step before you take it. It's about building a life that looks boring from the outside and feels incredibly powerful from the inside. Across these chapters, we will tear down the habits that keep you stuck and install ones that actually move you. You will learn to stop announcing and start becoming. You'll learn to let your work introduce you instead of your mouth. You'll switch from craving attention to craving discipline. You'll set standards so clear that your feelings have to follow them. You'll learn to train in boredom instead of chasing hype. You'll build ruthless, private routines that act like an invisible machine pushing your life forward. You'll guard your time with real boundaries, design a 3 to 6 month phase where you disappear and outwork everyone, measure actions instead of approval, use solitude as training instead of punishment, and eventually return to the world in a way that lets your results, not your ego, do the talking. Then we'll lock all of that in with a personal code so you never slide all the way back into the old you. This is not feel-good content. This is not background noise. This is coaching. You will feel called out. You will feel exposed. Good. Discomfort means something real is being touched. But none of it matters if you treat this like a movie. Listening is not the transformation. Listening is the map. The transformation is what you do after you press pause. So before we go into chapter 1, I want you to commit to 3 things. First, commit to finishing this. Don't half listen, get triggered, and disappear. That is the old you. Finishing is your first act of quiet discipline. Second, listen like this is about you. Drop the defensiveness. Drop the "but my situation is special." When something stings, assume it's yours. Third, act while you listen. If a chapter tells you to delete performative posts, do it. If it tells you to set a deep work block, put it in your calendar. If it tells you to write standards, stop and write them. Don't stockpile ideas you never use. You don't need their permission to become this person. You don't need anyone to clap before you move. From this point on, your goal is simple. No more announcements, only evidence. Let your work introduce you. Crave discipline, not attention. Live by standards, not moods. Train in boredom, not hype. Protect your time. Disappear into your work. Reappear unrecognizable. Count actions, not approval. Use solitude to build, not to suffer. Return quietly and let success be loud. Stay quiet. Stay hungry. Stay disciplined. You've talked about the new you for long enough. This is where you actually start becoming them, not in public, but in private where it matters. Let's begin. Chapter 1, Stop announcing, start becoming. You know this pattern. I'm back. New chapter. Soft launch. Watch me. You say it in captions. You say it in stories. You say it to friends. You're always about to start. You're always coming back. You're always on your grind tomorrow. But look at the truth. Most of the time, nothing changes. Feels like change, but it isn't. Feels like momentum, but it isn't. Feels like discipline, but it isn't. It's just noise. You are getting high on the feeling of a fresh start. You are addicted to the performance of improvement. You are announcing instead of becoming. You have a choice. Right here, right now. Keep performing your life, or start building it. That's the key. Every time you post, I'm back, your brain gets a hit, a small rush, a little applause, a few messages, proud of you, you got this. Yes, king/queen. Your brain loves that. Feels like progress. Feels like you did something big. But what did you actually do? You typed. You posted. You talked. No sweat. No discipline. No hours in. The problem is simple. You are rewarding yourself for the announcement, not for the work. You have a choice. Keep chasing that fake reward, or change what you celebrate. No more announcements, only evidence. Repeat that to yourself. No more announcements, only evidence. Asterisk, asterisk. Let's make it real. Imagine two people starting the gym on the same day. Person 1 is you right now. They take a mirror selfie. Caption, Day 1, let's go. They post a story every workout. They tag the location. They share the playlist. They talk about being on a journey. For the first week, the comments pour in. Proud of you. Okay, consistency. Love this for you. But after a few weeks, the posts slow down. The soreness kicks in. The motivation drops. The schedule gets busy. By week 4, the gym stories disappear. By week 6, it's like it never happened. Until the next I'm back cycle. This is the loop you know too well. Now look at person 2. They start the same day. They tell almost no one. They don't post a thing. No mirror selfies. No day 1. No grind time. They set a time. 7 a.m. or 7 p.m. Non-negotiable. They show up. Tired or not. Motivated or not. They show up. They track nothing publicly. They track everything privately. Representatives. Wait. Sessions. Weeks. They miss a day. They correct it the next. No drama. No speech. No, I fell off, guys. 6 months go by. Person 1 has a phone full of old gym posts. Same body. Same habits. Same excuses. Person 2 has no posts. But they have new shoulders. New habits. New strength. New identity. Person 1 disappears and comes back with words. Person 2 disappears and comes back with evidence. This is the difference between announcing and becoming. You have a choice. Who do you want to be? You think announcing keeps you accountable. But for you, it's doing the opposite. Every time you say, I'm back, and then vanish, you are teaching your brain one thing. I don't mean what I say. You break your word in public. You break your word in private. You stop trusting yourself. This is why it feels so hard to start again. Not because you're weak, but because your brain remembers. We've done this performance before. We don't follow through. Every time you talk instead of work, you weaken your discipline. Hear that again. Every time you talk instead of work, you weaken your discipline. You are handing your power to your mouth, instead of to your actions. That's the key. Your life doesn't change when you speak about change. Your life changes when you silently repeat the same hard action, over and over, and over, and over. You don't need their permission to start, to be serious, to disappear, to commit. You do not need their permission to stop performing and start becoming. You are waiting for applause, but what you really need is a decision. Let's talk about the fake satisfaction of announcing. It feels good because people respond. You feel seen. You feel believed in. You feel important. But attention is not transformation. Claps are not progress. Comments are not discipline. Attention is sugar. Quick, sweet, empty. Discipline is nutrition. Bland sometimes, boring a lot of the time, but it builds you, it strengthens you, sustains you. You have a choice. Do you want the sugar or the nutrition? You already know what the old you chooses. The old you chooses sugar. The old you chooses the high of day one posts. The old you chooses the short hit instead of the long grind. The new you, the you you're listening to this for, chooses nutrition, chooses the boring, chooses the unseen. No more announcements, only evidence. Say it slowly in your head. No more announcements, only evidence. Asterisk, asterisk. So what do you actually do? Not in theory, in practice. First, you stop feeding the habit. Scroll through your drafts. Scroll through your saved "I'm back" captions in your head. Let them go. You don't need to tell anyone you're starting. You don't need to explain your silence. You don't need to announce your goals. You don't need their permission. If there are posts you were about to make just to show you're changing, don't post them. Delete them, or at least lock them away. This is your first rep of quiet discipline. You feel the urge to talk. You feel the urge to show. Instead, you channel that energy into work. The moment you want to post, "I'm changing," you do one thing for your change instead. You do the workout. You write the page. You study the chapter. You build the system. Action over announcement. Every single time. That's the key. Second, you create one daily non-negotiable work block. Not 10 goals. Not a whole reinvention overnight. Just one block. Pick an area of your life that matters right now. Your body, your money, your craft, your business, your mind. Now pick a block of time. 30 minutes, 1 hour, 90 minutes, whatever you can defend daily. Same time, every day, no debate. This is your silent contract. This is your real "I'm back." Not in words, in time. During this block, you are unavailable to distraction. Phone away, notifications off, door closed if possible. This is the hour your old identity dies. This is the hour your new identity is built. You have a choice every day when that block comes. You can keep the promise, or break it. Keep it and you strengthen your discipline. Break it and you weaken it. Every time you talk instead of work, you weaken your discipline. But every time you work instead of talk, you strengthen it. This block is how you start becoming person 2. The quiet one, the consistent one, the one who reappears transformed. Third, you change what you celebrate. Stop celebrating declarations. Start celebrating completions. You do the work block. You give yourself credit. Not on social media, in your own mind, on your own scoreboard. Use a notebook. Use a calendar. Use an app. Doesn't matter. One tick for every day you keep your block. One clear mark that says, "I did what I said I'd do." That's your new like. That's your new comment. That's your new applause. You don't need their permission to feel proud. You don't need their reaction to feel successful. You don't need their eyes to validate your effort. You validate you. Your work validates you. Your consistency validates you. No more announcements, only evidence. Understand this. You're not going silent because you're ashamed. You're going silent because you're serious. You're not disappearing because you failed. You're disappearing because you're building. There is a difference between hiding and focusing. You're not running from life. You're turning toward the work that will change your life. You have a choice. You can keep looking like you're changing, or you can actually change. Looking like you're changing is cheap. Everyone can do that. Talking big is free. Actually changing is expensive. Costs time. costs ego, costs comfort, costs the performance. But that's the key. That cost buys you a new identity. So from this moment forward, you set a new rule for yourself. No more "I'm back" posts. No more new era speeches. No more long explanations of why you fell off. You fell off? Fine. Get back to work. Silently. You had a setback? Fine. Adjust. Silently. You're improving? Good. Keep going. Silently. Your new mantra. No more announcements. Only evidence. Asterisk asterisk. Every time your fingers itch to type out a big return speech, remember this chapter. Remember the two people at the gym. Ask yourself, do I want to be the person with old posts and no progress? Or the person with no posts and undeniable progress? You have a choice. Here's your takeaway from this chapter. Your life changes when you stop performing your progress and start producing it. You don't need their permission to go silent. You don't need their attention to stay consistent. Every time you talk instead of work, you weaken your discipline. Every time you work instead of talk, you strengthen it. From now on, no more announcements, only evidence. A daily non-negotiable work block, private tracking, public silence. In the next chapter, we go deeper. We'll talk about how to let your results speak so loudly that you don't have to. You won't need to convince anyone. You won't need to argue. You won't need to prove. Your work will introduce you. Your results will do the talking. Your silence will be your power. Chapter 2, Let Results Speak. Not your mouth. You've spent most of your life trying to convince people. Convince them you're serious. Convince them you're smart. Convince them you're on your grind. Convince them you're different this time. You argue. You explain. You defend. You talk. But here's the hard truth. People don't believe what you say. People believe what you consistently do. Real power is simple. Your work walks into the room before your words do. Your results speak louder than anything you could ever post, say, or promise. That's the key. In Chapter 1, you learn to stop announcing and start becoming. Now we go deeper. It's not only about not announcing. It's about how you carry yourself. It's about how you let your work do all the talking. Write this in your mind. Let your work introduce you. Say it again. Let your work introduce you. Let's look at a real-life situation. Two people. Same job. Same company. Same boss. Person A is loud. They complain a lot. They have opinions about everything. They talk about how underpaid they are. They talk about how the company doesn't see their value. They talk about how they do everything around here. They are always visible. Always in the middle of drama. Always in the gossip circle. They talk about what they're going to do. They talk about how they would lead. They talk about how they deserve more. Person B is different. They listen more than they speak. They show up on time. They finish what they start. They quietly take notes. They help when needed. They don't announce every small task like it's a heroic sacrifice. They leave on time, but they don't waste time. They're not trying to impress. They're trying to improve. Months go by. Promotion opens up. Person A starts campaigning. They make speeches to everyone who will listen. They remind the boss of every little thing they ever did. They attack other people's performance. They repeat, "If I don't get this, I'm leaving." Person B doesn't campaign. They keep doing what they've been doing. Quiet, consistent, solid. Who gets promoted? Not always, but very often. Person B. Why? Because the boss has been watching. Because the numbers don't lie. Because the energy doesn't lie. Because the work doesn't lie. Person A let their mouth represent them. Person B let their work introduce them. You have a choice. Every day at your job. Every day in your life. Do you want to be person A or person B? When you talk too much, your words go on credit. You borrow from a future you haven't created yet. I'm going to start a business. I'm going to get serious with the gym. I'm about to blow up. I'm going to be the best. You speak as if it's already true. You cash in the respect early. You collect the reactions now. But you haven't built anything yet. No track record. No foundation. No consistent work behind it. So what happens? Your mouth writes checks your work can't cash. Your reputation becomes empty. People nod when you talk, but they don't actually believe you. You become all talk, the worst label, the most dangerous to your self-respect. You don't need their permission to change this. You don't need their permission to shut your mouth and open your schedule. You don't need their permission to stop promising and start producing. You just decide. You choose a new rule for yourself. Let your work introduce you. There is a different kind of respect, a different kind of power. It belongs to the person who doesn't say much, who doesn't brag, who doesn't interrupt, who doesn't argue to prove they matter. They just keep showing up. They just keep adding value. They just keep improving when no one is watching. At first, people overlook them. They underestimate them. They ignore them. But slowly, something shifts. When they speak, people listen. When they make a suggestion, people consider it. When their name comes up, it's in a different tone. Yeah, they're solid. They get things done. They don't make drama. That energy is priceless. That is the energy of someone whose work has been introducing them day after day. You have a choice. Chase quick attention or build deep respect. That's the key. Attention is loud. Respect is quiet. Attention comes when you shout, flaunt, and force your presence. Respect comes when your work quietly accumulates and becomes undeniable. Here's what you need to understand. Every time you over-explain, argue, or defend, you leak power. You think you're convincing people. You think, if I just explain, they'll get it. You think, if I just talk more, they'll see my value. No, they don't need more speeches. They need more proof. You don't convince people with paragraphs. You convince people with patterns. Patterns of action. Patterns of consistency. Patterns of discipline. You don't need their permission to prove yourself this way. You don't need to win every argument. You don't need to correct every misunderstanding. Let your work introduce you. Let your results clarify who you are. Silence is not weakness. Silence is strategy. Silence builds three things you desperately need: mystery, respect, leverage. Mystery. When you're not constantly broadcasting your every move, people wonder, what are they up to? What are they building? How did they suddenly level up like that? You're not mysterious because you're pretending. You're mysterious because you're busy. You're doing more than you're saying. Respect. When you undertalk and overdeliver, people start trusting your word. If you say you'll do it, you actually do. If you say nothing, you still do it. Your words become rare, and rare things have value. Leverage. Leverage is power. Power to say no. Power to walk away. Power to choose. When you have a history of results, you don't need to beg for opportunities. You bring something to the table. You have receipts. You have proof. People start coming to you because they know what you do, because they see the outcome, because your work has already introduced you. That's the key. You are not trying to impress. You are trying to be undeniable. So how do you practice this in real life? Step 1, talk less, promise less. Asterisk. Make a rule. Stop saying, I'm going to, all the time. Stop promising what you haven't started yet. Stop selling people on a future you haven't built. If you're tempted to tell a friend, I'm about to start this, I'm going to do that, pause. Ask yourself, have I started? If the answer is no, don't talk. Go start. You don't need their permission to work in silence. You don't need their encouragement to begin. You don't need their reaction to get moving. Step 2, over-deliver quietly. When you say yes to something, do it better than expected. Not for attention, for your standards. You arrive on time, or early. You finish before the deadline. You double-check the details. You don't complain about it publicly. You just do it. And then you let the results sit on the table. No speech. No, look at me. No, do you see how much I did? Just quiet competence. Over time, this builds a reputation. If they take it on, it gets done. That reputation is leverage. That reputation is currency. Step 3, track your results for yourself. We said this in chapter 1 and it stays true here. You need a private scoreboard, not to show off, to see with your own eyes. How many workouts did I actually complete this month? How many deep work hours did I really do this week? How many times did I keep my word to myself? Your work is introducing you to you first. You need to believe your own story. You need to see your own patterns. When you see that you're consistent, you start to carry yourself differently. Your posture changes. Your energy changes. You don't crave as much attention because you know you're doing the work. You know you're building something real. You know your results will speak in time. Some people will still underestimate you. Some people will still talk over you. Some people will still doubt you. Let them. You don't have to correct everyone. You don't have to clap back at everyone. You don't have to prove them wrong with your mouth. Prove them wrong with your life. Let your work introduce you. Let your character introduce you. Let your discipline introduce you. You have a choice every day. Will you let your ego lead and try to defend, explain, and impress? Or will you let your work lead and let time reveal who you are? That's the key. Time always tells the truth. Results always tell the truth. Patterns always tell the truth. You don't need their permission to let time work in your favor. You just need to show up long enough for your results to become undeniable. So here's your new code. Speak less, promise less, argue less, work more, deliver more, improve more. When you feel the urge to talk about what you will do, go do something small toward it instead. When you feel the need to convince someone of your value, remind yourself, if my work can't prove it, my words won't either. Let your work introduce you. Your takeaway from this chapter: real power isn't in your mouth. Real power is in your track record. You shift from performing to producing, from trying to impress to quietly becoming impressive, from chasing attention to building respect. Every day you have a choice. Let your mouth go first, or let your work go first. Choose your work. Choose your results. Choose your patterns. Let your work introduce you. In the next chapter, we're going to go even deeper. We're going to separate attention from discipline. You'll learn how to stop craving eyes on you and start craving that quiet, repeatable consistency that actually changes your life. Because that's the next level. Not look at me, but I know who I am when no one is looking. Chapter 3, Crave Discipline, Not Attention. You don't just want to be disciplined. You want to be seen as disciplined. That's the problem. You want people to look at you and think, they're so focused. They're so serious now. They're really on their grind. You don't actually crave the pain of discipline. You crave the image of discipline. Big difference. You have a choice. Keep chasing the image, or finally build the reality. That's the key. Look at your behavior. You buy the planner. You buy the notebook. You buy the course. You download 5 productivity apps. You get the gym membership, the new shoes, the fancy water bottle. You take pictures of your desk, your laptop, your coffee, your setup. You feel productive. You feel like someone who has their life together. But look at your results. Did you stick with the plan for more than 2 weeks? Did you fill that notebook with work or just ideas? Did that gym membership turn into real sessions or just good intentions? Most of the time, no. You are living in the preparation high, not in the discipline grind. You don't need more tools. You don't need more planners. You don't need more gear. You need more reps. You need more boring sessions. You need more days where you do it even when it's not exciting anymore. You have a choice. Be the person who buys discipline, or be the person who practices it. Here is the truth you've been avoiding. Attention is a drug. Discipline is a muscle. Asterisk, asterisk. Say it again. Attention is a drug. Discipline is a muscle. Asterisk, asterisk. Attention hits fast. Someone likes your post. Someone replies, OMG, love this energy. Someone comments, you're inspiring me. You feel big. You feel seen. You feel important. But then, it fades. Tomorrow, nobody cares. Next week, they've forgotten your new era speech. So you need another hit, another announcement, another I'm back, another Monday reset, another I'm so motivated today. That's a drug cycle. Hi, crash, repeat. Discipline is different. Discipline doesn't give you a rush. Discipline is not glamorous. Discipline is slow. Discipline is repetitive. Discipline is quiet. But discipline grows. Every rep makes it stronger. Every completed task makes it denser. Every day you show up, the muscle gets thicker. Attention makes you feel better right now. Discipline makes you better for real. You have a choice. Do you want to feel like you're changing? Or do you want to actually change? That's the key. Think about your past week. How many times did you reach for attention instead of discipline? You posted about starting something. You didn't start. You told 3 people about your plans. You didn't execute. You wrote a to-do list that made you feel organized. You barely did anything on it. You spent more time setting up systems than using them. More time picking the perfect app than doing the actual work. That's attention behavior. You don't need their permission to stop living like that. You don't need their encouragement to change your reward system. You don't need anyone to clap for you before you start. You just need to decide. My reward will be completion, not attention. Here's what's really going on in your brain. When you announce a goal, your brain gets dopamine. It feels like you already did something. People respond. You feel progress without progress. When you prepare a lot, your brain gets dopamine. New app, new notebook, new system. Feels like work, but it's not work. It's dressing up as work. Your brain loves cheap dopamine. It loves the drug of attention. It loves the excitement of planning. But long-term, that's why you feel so empty. You keep getting the feeling of progress, without the reality of progress. You have a choice. Keep feeding your brain cheap dopamine, or put it on a new diet. You're going to retrain your brain. You're going to choose a new drug. Not attention, not novelty, execution. From now on, this is your rule. You don't get to feel proud when you announce. You get to feel proud when you finish. Asterisk asterisk. You don't celebrate when you write the goal. You celebrate when you crossed it off with sweat behind it. You don't reward yourself for deciding to go to the gym. You reward yourself after you walked out of the gym session done. You don't get the satisfaction from talking about your new morning routine. You get the satisfaction from actually doing it morning after morning. Attention is a drug. Discipline is a muscle. You're done feeding the drug. You're here to build the muscle. So how do you train this step by step? Step 1. Catch yourself chasing attention. You feel the urge to post your new plan? Pause. You feel the urge to tell everyone, I'm changing? Pause. You feel the urge to buy another productivity toy? Pause. In that moment, ask yourself, am I doing this for discipline or for attention? If the answer is attention, stop. Walk away from the cart. Close the app. Put the phone down. You have a choice right there. Feed the habit that keeps you stuck, or starve it. You don't need their permission to starve your ego. You don't need their permission to say, no more. You don't need their permission to interrupt the pattern. Step 2. Switch the reward to completion. Decide what actually counts as a win in your life, not what looks cool. What moves you forward. A workout done. That's a win. A deep focus hour with your phone off. That's a win. A business task that actually generates value, not just busy work. That's a win. Sticking to your sleep time. That's a win. You only give yourself that inner good job when the task is done. Not when you say you'll do it. Not when you plan to do it. When it's done. You're retraining your brain. You're telling it, this is when you get the good feeling. At completion, not at announcement. That's the key. Step 3. Create a private wins list. No audience. No claps. No likes. Just you. Your effort. Your record. At the end of every day, you ask one question. What did I complete today that nobody knows about? Not what you started. Not what you intended. What you completed. Write it down. 3 wins. 5 wins. 10 wins if you can. I did my 45-minute workout. I read 20 pages with full focus. I wrote 500 words. I replied to all the important emails without procrastinating. I stuck to my bedtime. These are your quiet trophies. This is your new form of attention. Self-attention. Awareness of your actual discipline. Every tick on that list is a rep for your muscle. Every line is proof. I am not just imagining discipline. I am practicing it. You don't need their permission to feel proud of those wins. You don't need to share them to make them real. You don't need external validation to know they matter. They matter because they move your life forward. They matter because they keep promises to yourself. They matter because they build who you are. Attention is a drug. Discipline is a muscle. Your wins list is your gym. Understand this. If you keep feeding your life with attention, you will stay emotionally weak. Because attention is controlled by others. They decide if they give it to you. They decide when. They decide how much. When they stop responding, you crash. You doubt yourself. You feel empty. You feel invisible. But if you feed your life with discipline, you become emotionally strong. Because discipline is controlled by you. You decide if you show up. You decide if you follow through. You decide if today gets a win on that list. You have a choice. Do you want your mood tied to likes and replies? Or tied to whether you honored your own standards? That's the key. Here's another hard truth. People are not as impressed by your grind talk as you think. They've heard it all before. They've probably seen you start and stop a dozen times. They might smile when you say, "This time I'm serious." But deep down, they're waiting to see. And they should. Because talk is cheap. Because attention is cheap. But when you start stacking quiet, boring, consistent days, when you start building that private wins list, when you stop posting your every move and just do the work, something shifts. You begin to respect yourself. You begin to believe yourself. Your words get heavier. Your promises get real. And eventually people will notice. Not because you demanded attention, but because your discipline became obvious. That's the irony. When you stop chasing attention and start craving discipline, you eventually get more real respect and attention than ever. But by then, you won't need it, because your real reward became the work itself. So here's your new identity shift. You're not the person who wants to look organized. You're the person who quietly follows their plan. You're not the person who wants to look disciplined. You're the person who quietly executes, even when no one knows. You're not the person who gets high off starting. You're the person who gets satisfaction from finishing. From now on, you train yourself like this. When you want to post, you do a rep instead. When you want to talk, you take action instead. When you want to buy a new productivity toy, you squeeze more out of what you already have. Attention is a drug. Discipline is a muscle. You're done being a drug addict. You're becoming an athlete. Your takeaway from this chapter: your life changes when you shift your craving. From eyes on you to effort from you. From applause to completion. From being seen as disciplined to being disciplined. You have a choice every single day. Feed the drug or train the muscle. Choose the muscle. Choose discipline. Choose the quiet wins list at the end of your day. Because in the next chapter, we go even tighter. We're going to take this discipline and lock it into standards. Not feelings, not moods, not motivation. You'll learn how to live by clear, non-negotiable rules for yourself. So discipline stops being something you occasionally feel and becomes something you are. That's the next level. From craving discipline to living it as your standard, no matter how you feel. Chapter 4, Live by Standards, Not Moods. You wake up different every day. Some days you feel sharp. Some days you feel heavy. Some days you feel hopeful. Some days you feel numb. And right now, your life follows that. If you feel good, you show up. If you feel bad, you disappear. If you feel motivated, you work. If you feel off, you scroll. Your whole life is being led by your moods. That's why it feels unstable. That's why it feels out of control. That's why nothing is consistent. You have a choice. You can keep living like a weather report. Sunny equals productive. Rainy equals lazy. Stormy equals destroyed. Or you can build something stronger than the weather. You can build standards. That's the key. Quiet discipline is not built on how you feel. Quiet discipline is built on what you will do no matter how you feel. A standard is simple. I do this daily. No negotiation. Not if I feel like it. Not if life calms down. Not if my mood is good. A standard is a rule you live by. A line you don't cross. Commitment you keep, even on your worst day. You don't follow your feelings. Your feelings follow your standards. You need to hear that again. You don't follow your feelings. Your feelings follow your standards. Asterisk asterisk. Let's use the runner example. There are two runners. They both want to get in shape. They both set a goal. They both put run 3x per week on their list. Runner 1 lives by moods. Runner 2 lives by standards. Runner 1 checks the weather. If it's raining, they cancel. If it's too cold, they cancel. If it's too hot, they cancel. If they're a little tired, they cancel. If they had a long day, they cancel. Their rule is, I will run, as long as everything feels right. So what happens? They run when it feels perfect, which means they barely run. They stay stuck. They get frustrated. They say, I just can't be consistent. Runner 2 is different. Runner 2 decides, I run on Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 7 p.m. No negotiation. They don't check if it's raining. They grab a jacket. They don't check if it's cold. They warm up a bit longer. They don't ask, do I feel like it? They already decided. Some days their run is great. Some days it feels heavy and slow. Some days they hate every step. But here's the difference. They run anyway. 1 month goes by. Runner 1 has a story. Runner 2 has stamina. 3 months go by. Runner 1 has excuses. Runner 2 has results. 6 months go by. Runner 1 says, I need to get back in shape. Again, Runner 2 is in shape. Right now. Because they built it. Same goal. Different standard. You have a choice. Are you Runner 1 or Runner 2? You need to understand this. Your feelings are real. They are not in charge. Let's be very clear. You are allowed to feel tired. You are allowed to feel sad. You are allowed to feel unmotivated. You are allowed to feel stressed. Feelings are allowed. Excuses are not. Asterisk asterisk. Say it again. Feelings are allowed. Excuses are not. Asterisk asterisk. There is a difference. I feel tired is a feeling. I feel tired, so I won't do anything I promised myself is an excuse. I feel anxious is a feeling. I feel anxious, so I quit on my goals is an excuse. I feel unmotivated is a feeling. I feel unmotivated, so I won't follow my standards is an excuse. You have a choice every time. A feeling shows up. You can sit with it and still move, or you can use it as your exit door. Quiet discipline doesn't pretend feelings don't exist. It just doesn't bow down to them. You don't follow your feelings. Your feelings follow your standards. Think of your standards as the frame. Your feelings are the colors inside. The frame doesn't change every day. It holds, protects. It defines the space. Right now, you have it backwards. Your frame is soft. Your moods are in charge. I work if I'm inspired. I sleep early if I'm tired. I eat healthy if I'm in the mood. I exercise if I feel like it. That is a mood-based life. It will always be inconsistent. You don't need their permission to flip this. You don't need their permission to say, from now on, I live by standards. You don't need anyone to agree. You just need to decide what your standards are. We're going to build 3. Only 3 to start. Clear, simple, non-negotiable. Sleep, work, health. These are your base. If these 3 get solid, everything else gets easier. Let's start with sleep. Not perfect sleep. Standard sleep. A standard might look like, I am in bed by 11 p.m. every weekday. No negotiation. I sleep a minimum of 7 hours a night. If I slip, I correct it the next night. You don't ask, do I feel like going to bed? You go. You don't convince yourself you're built different and can live on 3 hours. You admit you're human and need rest. You protect your sleep like a contract. Because it is. You put down the phone. You leave conversations. You log off. You choose the standard over the mood. Just one more episode is a mood. Just one more hour scrolling is a mood. Your standard says no. Feelings are allowed. Excuses are not. Next, work. Not, I'm always grinding 24/7. That's ego talk. We're not doing that. We're talking a clear block of focused work. Every day. No negotiation. A standard might be, I do 60 minutes of deep, focused work daily with my phone away. I complete at least one meaningful task that moves my future forward every day. Not emails. Not fake busy work. Real work. The thing you know matters. You don't wait to be inspired. You don't wait to be in the zone. You show up at your block. You start. Your brain catches up. You have a choice every day. Let your mood decide, or let your standard decide. This task feels hard is a feeling. I'm skipping it because I don't feel like being uncomfortable is an excuse. Feelings are allowed. Excuses are not. Now health. Again, not perfection. Standard. A health standard might look like, I move my body for 30 minutes every day. Walk, gym, run, something. I drink X amount of water every day. I limit junk food to once or twice a week. Not every day. You don't argue with the standard. You live it. You can be in a bad mood and still walk. You can be stressed and still drink water. You can have cravings and still say no most of the time. You're not a prisoner of your cravings. You're not a servant of your mood. You don't follow your feelings. Your feelings follow your standards. Now I want you to actually do this. Not just listen. Not just nod. Not just that makes sense. Pause this if you have to. Get a note on your phone or a piece of paper. Write at the top, my 3 standards. Then write, sleep asterisk. 1 sentence. Clear. Specific. Daily or weekday rule. Work asterisk. 1 sentence. Clear. Specific. Daily. Health asterisk. 1 sentence. Clear. Specific. Daily. Not I'll try. I'll see. I'll do my best. No, I do this daily. No negotiation. Because here's the truth. This is your real identity. Not your words. Not your goals. Your standards. You don't need their permission to write this list. You don't need their permission to make it real. You don't need their permission to honor it. This is between you and you. Now let's address your favorite excuse. I'm just not feeling it. You use that line for everything. Gym, projects, cleaning, studying, going to bed. You act like not feeling it is a valid reason. It's not. It's a report, not a rule. You can notice it. You don't have to obey it. Not feeling it is just your brain protecting your comfort zone. It wants easy. It wants familiar. It wants instant relief. Your standards want something else. They want growth. They want strength. They want a future you're proud of. You have a choice. Obey the mood or obey the standard. Every time you obey the mood, you get weaker. Every time you obey the standard, you get stronger. That's the key. Here's what happens when you live by standards long enough. Your feelings start to shift because your brain starts to understand. This is just what we do. Your resistance shrinks. Your self-respect grows. You start to feel like the kind of person who keeps their word. But notice the order. You didn't wait to feel that way first. You acted your way into that feeling. You didn't follow your feelings. Your feelings followed your standards. This is how confidence is built. Not from affirmations, from actions. I am disciplined feels empty if your actions say otherwise. But when you have a track record, sleep, work, health locked in, those words feel true. Will you break your standards sometimes? Yes. You're human. You'll mess up. You'll slip. That's fine. A standard is not about never failing. It's about what you do next. You miss your sleep time? You correct it the next night. You skip your work block? You don't let it become 2 days. You miss your movement? You don't miss twice. The old you breaks the rule and then explodes everything. All or nothing. The new you breaks the rule and then returns to it. Quick, quiet, no drama. Feelings are allowed. Excuses are not. So here is your new way of living. You wake up. You don't ask, how do I feel? Before everything. Do you ask, what are my standards today? Then you obey them, even at 50%, even clumsily, even imperfectly. On a good day, you hit them strong. On a bad day, you still hit them, maybe a little weaker, but they still get done. That's quiet discipline. It's not loud. It's not flashy, but it's stable. You have a choice. Live like a slave to your moods, or live like a leader of your life through your standards. Your takeaway from this chapter: your life will not change because you feel more motivated. Your life changes when you build and obey clear standards. 3 standards: sleep, work, health. I do this daily. No negotiation. Remember, feelings are allowed. Excuses are not. Asterisk, asterisk. You don't follow your feelings. Your feelings follow your standards. Asterisk, asterisk. In the next chapter, we go one layer deeper. We're going to talk about what it actually feels like to live by standards. Bored, repetitive, unexciting. You'll learn how to train in boredom, not in hype. How to keep going when the newness is gone, when no one is watching, when the routine feels dull, because that's where real discipline is forged. Not in the high of a new standard, but in the quiet repeat of it, day after day. Chapter 5: Train in boredom, not in hype. You love the beginning. New goal, new notebook, new routine, new version of you. Feels exciting. You feel unstoppable. You feel ready. Then something always shows up. Not a tragedy, not a crisis, something quieter. Boredom. The hype wears off. The routine feels old. The tasks feel repetitive. The progress feels slow. And this is where you usually disappear. Not because it's too hard, but because it's not exciting anymore. You have to understand this. Boredom is where amateurs quit and disciplined people are born. That's the key. You think transformation looks like a montage. Fast cuts, music, sweat, big jumps. It doesn't. Real transformation is slow. Real transformation is repetitive. Real transformation is mostly invisible. Early mornings, same desk, same work block, same exercises, same drills. No applause, no claps, no "you got this" in the comments. Just you and the next rep. You have a choice. Keep chasing hype or start training in boredom. Think about learning an instrument. Everyone loves the idea. Guitar, piano, violin. You imagine yourself playing effortlessly. Songs, performances, people impressed. But what does it actually look like? It looks like one chord, over and over, fingers hurting, wrists tight, sound ugly. It looks like one scale, up and down, again, and again, and again. It looks like you, alone in a room, playing the same little piece until your brain is tired of hearing it. No crowd, no stage, no magic, just boring reps. You have a choice. Be the person who buys the instrument and posts a picture, or be the person who repeats the same dull exercise 1,000 times until it's clean. Boredom is where amateurs quit and disciplined people are born. Think about learning a language. People love saying, I need to learn Spanish, Italian, French, Japanese. It sounds impressive. It sounds ambitious. But what does it actually take? Flashcards. Same words. Again and again. Listening to simple phrases. Repeating them. Messing them up. Correcting yourself. Reading basic texts that feel beneath you. Stumbling through sentences. Feeling slow. Feeling clumsy. It is not glamorous. It is not Insta-worthy. It is not exciting after the first week. The ones who quit, they quit in boredom. They decide, this isn't fun anymore. Maybe it's not for me. The ones who become fluent, they eat boredom for breakfast. They show up to the same app, the same notebook, the same sentence structures, day after day, same desk, same time, same work. Boredom is where amateurs quit and disciplined people are born. Now think about building a business. At the beginning, it's all vision. Logos, names, brainstorms, maybe a website, maybe a launch post. You feel like a CEO already, but real business, real building, is customer emails. It's fixing small problems. It's sending invoices. It's tracking expenses. It's writing content when you're tired. It's learning skills you don't want to learn. It's repeating the same small sales actions every day, even when no one buys, even when no one responds, even when no one cares. It's not a highlight reel. It's not fireworks. It's not hustle porn. It's boring. And this is where you usually run. You say, "It's not working." You say, "I'm stuck." You say, "Maybe I need something new." But often you're not stuck. You're just bored. You have a choice. Chase the next exciting idea, or stay with the one you have and master the boring parts. That's the key. You've been taught to worship hype, motivation videos, hype music, big speeches. I'm locked in this week. You wait to feel a spark. You wait to feel pumped. You wait to feel obsessed. But real discipline doesn't care about your spark. Real discipline doesn't need fireworks. Real discipline says, whether it's exciting or not, whether it's fun or not, whether it's new or not, I'm doing what I said I would do. That's quiet discipline, and it lives in boredom. You don't need their permission to train like this. You don't need hype to get serious. You don't need to feel it to act. You simply decide, I train in boredom, not in hype. Here is where most people sabotage themselves. They mistake boredom for a sign that something is wrong. This workout feels repetitive. I need a new program. This business task is dull. I need a new niche. This language study is boring. I need a new method. This routine is flat. I need to change everything. No, often the boredom is not a sign to change direction. It's proof you are finally in the zone where growth happens. You're past the honeymoon. You're past the dopamine high. You're past the illusion. Now you're in reality. And reality is repetitive. You have a choice. Let boredom be your exit. Or let boredom be your training ground. Boredom is where amateurs quit and disciplined people are born. I want you to start seeing boredom differently. Right now, you see boredom as a problem, a red flag, a reason to stop. From today, you're going to see it as a green light. Bored at the gym? Good. You're past the new toy stage. Now your body can actually build. Bored of your language drills? Good. You're past dabbling. Now your brain is finally being forced to remember. Bored of your business tasks? Good. You're past dreaming. Now you're doing the unsexy work that makes money. Boredom is not the enemy. Boredom is a teacher. Boredom is a filter. It separates the ones who are in love with the idea of change from the ones who are married to the process of change. You have a choice. Which one are you? Let me say this clearly. If you always need hype to move, you will never be consistent, because hype is temporary. Hype is fragile. Hype burns out. What you need is rhythm, routine, monotony, same desk, same time, same work, over and over, over and over, over and over. That's how a writer finishes a book. That's how an athlete builds endurance. That's how a musician becomes great. That's how a language learner becomes fluent. That's how a business owner becomes stable. Not with random bursts of intensity, with quiet, repeated, boring sessions. You don't follow your hype. You follow your standards. And you let boredom become part of the plan. So what do you actually do with this? First, stop running from boredom. You feel it? Name it. I'm bored. Okay. And being bored doesn't break you. Reacting to boredom does. You don't have to fix it. You don't have to escape it. You don't have to make everything fun. You just keep going. One more set. One more page. One more call. One more drill. Feel the boredom. Do the rep anyway. You have a choice. Chase stimulation or build stamina. Second, build boring anchors. Pick a place. Your desk. Your corner. Your table. Pick a time. Every day. Same time. Same duration. Then pick the work. The one thing that moves your life forward. You go to that place. At that time. Do that work. Same routine. Same environment. Over and over. You don't redecorate every week because you're uninspired. You don't change your whole system every time you get restless. You stay, you settle, you repeat. That's where you get powerful. That's where you get scary consistent. Boredom is where amateurs quit and disciplined people are born. Third, track the boring wins. Not just the exciting milestones, the quiet sessions. I showed up to my desk today. I did my language drills today. I did my workout today. I followed my routine today. Tick it, mark it, note it. You're teaching your brain. This is the kind of person I am. I don't just move when it's exciting. I move when it's time. You don't need their permission to honor these boring wins. You don't need their applause. You don't need them to understand why you're okay with repetition. You know why. You know what it's building. If you're waiting for every day to feel new, you'll never live a disciplined life. Disciplined lives are built on a lot of days that look the same from the outside. Same alarm, same clothes, same commute, same session. But on the inside, something is changing. You're getting stronger, sharper, calmer, more capable. The outside looks boring. The inside is transforming. You have a choice. Do you want your days to look exciting? Or do you want your life to be transformed? That's the key. There will always be people chasing hype. New plan every week. New vision board every month. New era every season. They start intense, loud, public. Then they vanish in the boredom phase. They confuse, this is boring now with, this isn't working. So they jump to the next thing. And repeat, and repeat, and repeat. Don't be that. You be the one who stays. You be the one who returns to the same place, at the same time, for the same work, until the results are undeniable. Quiet, steady, boring, dangerous, because that kind of person is unstoppable over time. Your takeaway from this chapter: transformation is not in the hype. It's in the boredom. Real change happens in the quiet reps no one sees. Early mornings, repeated drills, same desk, same time, same work, zero applause. From now on, when boredom shows up, you won't panic. You won't run. You won't say, I need something new. You'll say, this is the phase where most people quit. This is exactly where I'm staying. Because boredom is where amateurs quit and disciplined people are born. In the next chapter, we're going to turn this mindset into a system. You'll learn how to build ruthless routines in private. Routines that lock in your standards, embrace the boredom, and quietly run your life forward. Even when your moods and motivation disappear, you won't just train in boredom. You'll design your whole day around it on purpose. Chapter 6. Build ruthless routines in private. You keep asking, how do I change my life? Here's the uncomfortable answer. You don't change your life. You change your routine. Your routine changes your life. That's the key. Your goals are loud. Your routines are quiet. But the quiet part is what's actually running everything. Listen carefully. Your routine is your real identity. Not what you say you are. Not what you post you are. Not what you wish you were. What you do every day. On repeat. That's who you are. You have a choice. Keep pretending you're your goals. Or finally admit, I am what I repeatedly do. That's brutal. But it's the truth. Right now, your days are probably messy. You wake up at different times. You grab your phone. You scroll. You react. You rush into the day. No plan. No anchors. No structure. Every day feels random. Some days you're on. Most days you're scattered. And then you wonder why nothing sticks. Why discipline feels impossible. Why everything feels last minute and chaotic. It's not because you're broken. It's because you're freestyling your life. You do not build a strong mind on a weak routine. You do not build quiet discipline on random patterns. You need an invisible machine, a ruthless routine, in private. Think of a machine. You press a button. It runs. Same steps, same order, same result. You don't negotiate with the machine. You don't ask it how it feels. You don't beg it to perform. It just runs its program. You need that for your life. A routine that runs whether you're in the mood or not. A routine that runs when you're inspired and when you're not. A routine that still runs on bad days. Quiet, predictable, ruthless, and the best part? Nobody needs to know about it. You don't need their permission to build this. You don't need their applause. You don't need their understanding. This is between you and your future. Your routine is your real identity. Let me give you an example. Imagine you commit to a daily 2-hour deep work window. Every weekday, 6 a.m. to 8 a.m., or 7 a.m. to 9 a.m., or 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. if mornings are impossible. 2 hours. No phone, no notifications, no multitasking, just one important thing: studying, building your business, writing, learning a skill that improves your future. You don't announce it. You don't post rise and grind. You don't brag about it. You just sit down. Same spot, same time, every day. For the first week, nothing looks different. For the first month, no one notices. Feels small. Feels boring. Feels like it doesn't matter. But keep going. 2 hours a day. 5 days a week. That's 10 hours a week. 40 hours a month. For 180 hours a year. That's 12 40-hour work weeks. Almost 3 extra months of focused work. On your dream. On your craft. On your future. In private. No one sees those hours. No one claps for those hours. No one posts about those hours. But everything in your life starts to change because of them. Your skills jump. Your income shifts. Your options expand. Your confidence grows. People will say, "You're so lucky. You're so talented. You're so smart." They didn't see the invisible machine. They didn't see the routine. Your routine is your real identity. The world only sees the result. It never sees the structure. So let's build your structure. You don't need 1,000 habits. You need anchors. Morning anchor, evening anchor. These 2 ends of your day shape the middle. You have a choice. Let your mornings and nights stay chaotic, or lock them in and let them carry you. Let's start with the morning. Your morning anchor is simple. Wake, move, focus, not scroll, not react, not drift. A strong morning might look like this. You wake up at the same time. Not when you feel like it. Same time. Every weekday. You do not start with your phone. No social media. No messages. You give your mind a chance to be yours. Before the world grabs it. You drink water. You stretch. You move your body even for 5 to 10 minutes. You send a signal. We are awake. We are alive. We are in control. Then you enter your focus block. 30 minutes. 60 minutes. 90 minutes. Whatever you can commit. One task. No multitasking. The thing that moves your life forward. That's it. Not complicated. Just consistent. Same wake time. Same flow. Same focus. Day after day, this becomes your invisible machine. You don't need their permission to wake up for yourself. You don't need to post your sunrise. You don't need to prove you're on your grind. You just do it. Your routine is your real identity. Now your evening anchor. Your evening is where most people destroy their next day. They stay up late for nothing. They scroll until they're numb. They eat until they're exhausted. They clutter their mind with noise. Then they wake up tired, foggy, rushed, and say, "I'm just not a morning person." No, you're just not an evening discipline person. A strong evening anchor does 4 things. It shuts down work. It reflects. It plans. It protects sleep. It might look like this. 1 to 2 hours before bed, you start your shutdown. You step away from work. No more just one more email. No more just one more episode. You close the day on purpose. You review it. What did I complete today that nobody knows about? You write your private wins list. You give yourself credit for discipline. Then you plan tomorrow. 3 priorities. Not 30. Your main focus block. Your non-negotiable tasks. You decide before you sleep who you're going to be tomorrow. Then you protect your sleep. Screens off, or at least away. Room darker. Body calmer. You're not perfect, but you respect the anchor. The world doesn't see this. They just see you more focused, more stable, more disciplined. They see the fruit, not the root. Your routine is your real identity. Maybe you're thinking, this sounds intense. It is. It's supposed to be. Ruthless doesn't mean cruel. Ruthless means clear. Ruthless means no more negotiation with your weakest impulses. You already know what not being ruthless looks like. You live it. I'll just check my phone quickly. I'll start after this show. I'll see how I feel in the morning. I'll do it later. Later rarely comes. Quickly becomes an hour. After this show becomes midnight. Your current routine is already ruthless. Ruthlessly destroying your progress. Ruthlessly wasting your time. Ruthlessly weakening your discipline. So yes, you need to be equally ruthless with your new routine. Just in the opposite direction. You have a choice. Let your default patterns run you. Or design patterns that build you. That's the key. Let's make this practical. Right now, I want you to define 3 things. 1. Your wake-up time. 2. Your deep work window. 3. Your shutdown time. Not perfect, just clear. Example, wake at 6:30 a.m. Deep work 7 to 8 a.m. Shutdown at 10 p.m. In bed by 11 p.m. Or wake at 7 a.m. Deep work 8 to 9 a.m. Shutdown at 11 p.m. In bed by midnight. Or if you truly can't use mornings, wake at 8 a.m. Deep work 8 to 9 p.m. Shutdown at 11 p.m. It doesn't have to look like anyone else's. It has to be doable. It has to be specific. It has to be non-negotiable. You don't have to show this to anyone. You don't have to justify it. You don't have to get approval. You don't need their permission. This is your invisible machine. This is your private contract with yourself. Your routine is your real identity. Here's the trap you need to avoid: constantly redesigning your routine instead of actually living it. You don't need a new plan every 3 days. You don't need to optimize everything immediately. You need to pick something and live it for a while. 90 days, same wake time, same basic morning, same deep work window, same shutdown pattern. Will you adjust small things? Sure, but the skeleton stays the same. Most people never change because they keep resetting. New plan, new schedule, new approach. Nothing gets enough time to work. Nothing becomes automatic. Your job is not to keep reinventing. Your job is to keep repeating. That's what makes a routine ruthless. It doesn't bend every time you're bored. It doesn't change every time you're uncomfortable. It holds. You have a choice. Be loyal to your comfort, or be loyal to your structure. Remember this: the world only ever sees your highlight moments. They see the weight you lost, the calm you gained, the business you built, the skills you have, the way you carry yourself differently. They say, "You've changed." They say, "What happened to you?" They say, "Put me on." They didn't see the early alarms, the lonely mornings, the boring nights, the phone on airplane mode, the repeated sessions, the times you wanted to stop but didn't. They see the upgrade. They don't see the routine. And that's fine. They don't need to, you know. You'll know exactly what built that life. Your routine is your real identity. Your takeaway from this chapter: if you want a new life, you build a new routine. A ruthless one. In private. Morning anchor. Wake. Move. Focus. Evening anchor. Shut down. Reflect. Plan. Protect sleep. One daily deep work window that exists whether people believe in you or not. Whether they see you or not. Whether they support you or not. You don't need their permission to build your invisible machine. You don't need attention for your routine. You just need consistency. In the next chapter, we're going to protect everything you just built. Because a ruthless routine is useless if you let everyone and everything invade it. We're going to talk about guarding your time like it's sacred, how to say no, how to set boundaries, how to stop letting other people's emergencies and your own distractions destroy the structure that's supposed to change your life. You've built the machine. Next, you're going to learn how to defend it. Chapter 7: Guard your time like it's sacred. Your life is not just made of days. It's made of hours, minutes, blocks of time. And right now, too many people own your hours. Too many distractions own your minutes. You give away your time like it's nothing. Then you say, I don't have time. No, you had time. You just didn't protect it. You have a choice. Keep living like your time is cheap, or start guarding it like it's sacred. That's the key. Quiet discipline is not only about what you do. It's about what you don't allow. Fewer calls, fewer hangouts, fewer quick distractions that steal entire nights. You can't build a ruthless routine in private. If your phone, your friends, and your impulses can interrupt you anytime they want. You want focus. You want discipline. You want results. Then you need boundaries. Ruthless ones. You need to understand this. If they don't respect your time, they don't respect your future. And that they includes you. Look at your last week. How many times did you say yes when you wanted to say no? Yes, I'll hop on that call. Yes, I'll come out tonight. Yes, I'll answer this message right now. Yes, I'll help with this last-minute thing. And what did you trade? Your deep work block, your workout, your sleep, your reading, your quiet time. You sacrificed what builds your future for what keeps everyone else comfortable in the present. You have a choice. Keep doing that, or stop pretending you're serious about your goals. Strong words, because this part is serious. If your time is open to everyone, your life will belong to everyone. Let's walk through a simple example. You've set your deep work window, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. You promised yourself, no interruptions. This block is for my future. It's 6:45 p.m. You're getting ready. You're closing your apps. You're preparing your notes. Then your phone buzzes. Come through, we're just chilling. Let's grab food. Hop on this game with us. Call me real quick. I need to talk. Nothing evil. Nothing dramatic. Just casual invitations. In that moment, you are at war. Not with them, with yourself. Path 1. You say, okay, I'll come. I'll do my work later. You don't. You show up. You laugh. You hang out. You tell yourself, I deserve this. Then you come home tired. No work done. Routine broken. Future delayed. Path 2. You say, I can't tonight. I've got work I need to do. Or even simpler, I'm busy. You feel a little guilty. A little weird. Maybe they say, you've changed. Maybe they joke, you're boring now. But guess what? You show up for your block. You do the work. You keep the promise. One night doesn't look like much. But repeat this choice for months. For years. One life is built. One is wasted. You have a choice. Every single time. If they don't respect your time, they don't respect your future. And if you don't respect your time, you don't respect your future either. Quiet discipline requires ruthless boundaries. That means fewer random calls, fewer aimless hangouts, fewer, let me just check something quickly moments. Not no fun, not no social life, just intentional fun, intentional social life. You're not anti-people, you're pro-priorities. There are seasons where you must choose to disappoint others, instead of constantly disappointing yourself. You don't need their permission to do this. You don't need them to understand your grind. You don't need everyone to clap when you say no. You're not living for their schedule. You're living for your future. Let's talk about clear rules, because without rules, your time will always lose. You need rules that are simple and strict. 1. Phone off during deep work. Not silent with banners popping up. Or in another room. Or on airplane mode. If your phone is within reach and alive, you will touch it. Don't lie to yourself. 2. Scheduled social time. Not anytime someone calls. Not whenever I feel bored. Decide. I see friends on Friday and/or Saturday evenings. Or I do calls on Sundays. You put connection into your routine, instead of letting it randomly steal from it. 3. Hard cutoffs for distractions. Time limits. Clear ones. No more social media after 9 p.m. No games before my deep work block is done. No Netflix until my priority task is finished. Not suggestions. Standards. You are building a fence around your time, so your focus can grow inside it. You have a choice. Let everything wander in and trample your garden. Or close the gate and only let in what serves you. That's the key. You might say, but people will be upset. Yes, some will. Some will be offended you're not available 24/7. Some will call you distant. Some will say, you've changed. Good. You are trying to change. Here's a harsh filter. If they don't respect your time, they don't respect your future. If someone gets angry because you protect 2 hours a day for your life's work, they are not for your future. If someone constantly pressures you to skip your routine, skip your sleep, skip your responsibilities, they are not for your future. They might like the old you, the always available you, the always down to chill you, the self-sacrificing you, but the future you cannot be built on that. You don't need their permission to grow beyond their expectations. You don't need their approval to protect your schedule. You don't need to apologize for honoring your commitments. A real friend won't love losing access to you anytime, but they will learn to respect your boundaries. If they don't, you've learned something important. Now, let's talk about the biggest time thief. You, not your friends, not your family. You break your own rules. You scroll during your work block. You click next episode when you said bed. You open your phone in the bathroom and lose 20 minutes. You have to put boundaries on yourself. It's not just, don't let people waste your time. It's, don't let your own impulses waste your time. You are not a child. You do not have to obey every urge. You do not have to open every notification. You do not have to respond instantly to everything. You are allowed to say, I'll answer this later. I don't need to see this now. I'm in my block. This can wait. You have a choice. Be owned by your habits, or own them. Here's what most people don't get. Protecting your time in silence doesn't change your life dramatically in a week. In a week, it looks small. You say no to a few hangouts. You shut your phone off for a block. You go to bed instead of binge watching. Nobody says, wow, you're so different. Nobody claps. Nobody notices. That's fine. You're not doing it for a week. You're doing it for years. Because over months and years, this protection compounds. 2 hours a day protected equals new skills. Protected nights equals clearer mind, better health, more energy. Protected mornings equals deep focus, sharper thinking. Over time, your body changes, your money changes, your mind changes, your circle changes. People will say, you're lucky, you're so disciplined, you've always been like this. No, you just guarded your time. When they treated theirs like a joke, they spent their prime hours on distractions. You spent yours on construction. That's the difference. So what do you actually do starting now? 1. Name your sacred blocks. Decide when they are. Morning, evening, both? This hour is non-negotiable. Put it in your calendar. Treat it like a doctor's appointment you paid for. 2. Decide your phone rules. Phone away. Airplane mode. Different room. Don't rely on willpower. Use friction. Make it harder to break your own rules. 3. Tell people what you need to tell them. Asterisk asterisk. Not everyone. Just the ones who need to know. Hey, I'm not as available in the evenings now. I'm working on some things. I'm hard to reach during these hours, but I'll get back after. Simple. Direct. No big speech. 4. Practice saying no without over-explaining. I can't tonight. I've got stuff I need to do. Not this time. That's it. No full essay. No guilt performance. Every time you say no to something small, you say yes to something bigger. Your future, your standards, your routine. If they don't respect your time, they don't respect your future. And if you don't respect your time, you are abandoning your future. Will this feel lonely sometimes? Yes. You will have evenings where you're working, while other people are out laughing. You will have mornings where you're tired, and everyone else is still asleep. You will have weekend half in your goals, half in your distractions, 1 foot in the grind, 1 foot in everybody else's business. You want massive change, but you live like change is a side hobby that has to end. You don't need another motivated week. You need a focused season, 3 to 6 months of intense, quiet execution. No more dipping your toe in. You step all the way in, disappear into your work, reappear unrecognizable. Asterisk, asterisk. That's the key. You've seen this before. Someone goes quiet. They stop posting every day. They're not in every group chat. They're not at every function. People talk. Where you been? You fell off. You ghosted us. Then months later, they show up again. Different body, different money, different energy, different life. They didn't get lucky. They disappeared into their work. They reappeared unrecognizable. You have a choice. Watch other people do this, or become the one who does. Let's be clear about what disappear means. You are not running away from life. You are not abandoning your responsibilities. You are not ghosting everyone that loves you. You are cutting noise. You are cutting excess. You are cutting anything that doesn't move the needle. You still handle your job. You still handle your family. You still handle your core responsibilities. But the extra, the scrolling, the gossip, the aimless hanging out, the every night entertainment, the constant availability, that goes. You're not hiding from life. You're going deeper into life, into your real life, into the work you keep saying you want to finish. Disappear into your work. Reappear unrecognizable. Asterisk, asterisk. This is how you turn your discipline into transformation. Not by doing pretty good for 2 weeks. Not by being kind of focused this month. By entering a season. Think 90 to 180 days. 3 to 6 months. Long enough to change. Short enough that your brain can commit. This is not a forever prison. It's a focused sprint. You tell yourself, for the next 3 to 6 months, I'm going to live different. I'm going to act like my goal actually matters. I'm going to remove distractions on purpose. I'm going to work like my future is on the line. Because it is. You have a choice. Keep stretching the change over years. Or condense your effort into a brutal, focused season. That's the key. Step 1. Pick one main goal. Not 5. Not 10. 1. Your brain is not built to go all in on 10 transformations at once. You'll just dilute your effort and burn out. Ask yourself, if I disappeared for 3 to 6 months and came back changed in one area, which area would change everything else? Your body, your business, your income, your skill, your inner calm? Choose. I will come back with a different body. I will come back with a real business running. I will come back fluent enough to hold a basic conversation. I will come back with a new career skill. I will come back with rock-solid habits. You don't need their permission to pick this. You don't need their approval. You don't need a poll. This is your mission, your season, your life. Step 2. Pick your disappear phase. Set dates. Start date. End date. For example, from March 1st to August 31st. From next Monday for the next 90 days. Put it on your calendar. Write it in big letters. Disappear phase. I'm building. This does something powerful. Tells your mind, we are not trying this for a week. We are in a season. You have a container. You have a frame. You're no longer floating day to day. You have a choice. Keep leaving change open-ended and vague, or lock it into a clear season. Step 3. Define what you're disappearing from. This is crucial. You don't just vaguely focus more. You cut specific things. Example list. Social media posting. No more updates. No more showing your every move. Endless scrolling. Strict limit or full delete for the season. Casual hangouts that don't serve your energy or your goals. Gaming marathons. Late night binge watching. Random phone calls during your work blocks. Saying yes to everything. You write it down. During my disappear phase, I am cutting 1. Underscore. 2. Underscore. 3. Be honest. You know what eats your time. You know what drains you. You know what gives you nothing back. You're not banning joy. You're cutting junk. You have a choice. Keep pretending those things don't matter, or admit they are stealing your life and cut them on purpose. Step 4. Design your daily execution. This is where your previous chapters come in. Standards, routine, time blocks, boundaries. Now you combine them into a season. Ask, what am I doing daily in this phase to outwork everyone? For example, if your main goal is your body, 1 workout per day, mix of lifting, cardio, movement, 8,000 to 10,000 steps, specific eating windows or rules, sleep standards locked. If your main goal is your business, 2 to 3 hours of deep work per day, X outreach messages or calls, content or product creation every day, learning 1 key skill per week and applying it. If your main goal is a skill, 60 to 90 minutes of practice every day. Weekly benchmarks, learn X song, X topic, X lesson. 1 weekly review of progress and weak spots. Then you anchor it. Same time, same place, same setup. Morning work block, evening review. Weekends with structure, not chaos. You are not guessing your days. You are running your days. Disappear into your work. Reappear unrecognizable. Asterisk. Step 5. Communicate simply. You don't need to make a dramatic announcement. You don't need a goodbye social media speech. You're not doing a performance. You're doing a shift. If you need to tell certain people, keep it simple. Hey, I'm going to be less available for the next few months. I'm working on some important stuff. I'm not on here as much right now, focusing on some goals. If I reply slow, don't take it personal. I'm in a work season. That's it. No essays. No begging them to understand. Some will get it. Some won't. That's fine. You're not disappearing from them. You're disappearing into your work. You don't need their permission for that. You don't need their blessing. You don't need their applause. Now let's talk about what will try to pull you out of this season. Fear of missing out. Fear of being forgotten. Fear of being left behind. You'll think, what if something big happens and I'm not online? What if people move on without me? What if my friends stop inviting me? What if people think I failed? Here's the truth. While you're gone, the same things will be happening. Same jokes, same drama, same recycled content, same arguments, same empty validation loops. You are not missing much. You are not missing anything that truly builds your life. They are not moving forward as fast as it looks. Most people are circling, scrolling, talking, repeating. You're the one moving. You're the one building. You're the one changing. You have a choice. Chase the illusion of not missing out, or chase the reality of not wasting your life. Will it feel lonely sometimes? Yes. Will you feel tempted to check in constantly? Yes. Will you doubt the process? Absolutely. That's where chapter 5 comes back. Boredom, repetition, monotony. This disappear phase is not glamorous. It's you in rooms alone, doing what you said you'd do, again and again. That's where the real you gets built. That's where confidence is born, not from being seen, from seeing yourself do the work. Disappear into your work. Reappear unrecognizable. Asterisk. You might think, what if I do all this and nobody even notices? Read that again. Listen to what you just said. You're still making them the point. This isn't about them noticing. This is about you noticing you've changed. This is about looking in the mirror and seeing someone you respect. This is about opening your bank app, or your calendar, or your notebook and seeing real evidence. If nobody says a word, but your life is different, you didn't lose. You won. You have a choice. Do you want a performance, or do you want a permanent shift? That's the key. One more thing. When this disappear phase ends, Don't rush to make it a movie. You don't have to dump a "look at me now" post. You don't have to prove you were working. You don't have to show receipts to everyone. Just walk back into rooms with your new skills, your new body, your new calm, your new results. Let people feel the difference. Let your presence talk. Let your competence talk. If they ask, "Where have you been?" you can simply say, "I was working," period. No over-explaining, no ego speech, because by then you'll know. Disappear into your work. Reappear unrecognizable. Asterisk, asterisk. It actually works. Your takeaway from this chapter: you don't need another scattered year. You need a 3 to 6 month season of ruthless, quiet execution. Pick one main goal. Choose a start and end date. Cut the noise. Design your daily work. Communicate simply, then disappear into your work. You are not hiding from life. You are finally fully showing up for your real life by cutting out everything that keeps you half present and half committed. In the next chapter, we're going to make this season measurable, because disappearing and working hard is powerful, but your mind will try to lie to you. You'll need proof. You'll need numbers. You'll need your own scoreboard. So next, you'll learn how to measure your work, not their reactions. How to track your actions so you know you're outworking everyone, even when nobody is watching, nobody is clapping, and nobody is saying a word. Chapter 9, measure your work, not their reactions. You think you're failing, but you're not. You're just looking at the wrong scoreboard. You're measuring likes, comments, views, replies, applause. And when those numbers are low, you decide you are low. So you feel inconsistent. You feel weak. You feel like, what's the point? Here's the truth. Your problem is not that you don't work hard. Your problem is that you count the wrong things. Count actions, not approval. That's the key. In the last chapter, you learn to disappear and outwork everyone. But if you disappear and you don't measure anything, your own mind will try to convince you that you're not doing enough. You'll forget how many times you showed up. You'll forget how much work you've quietly done. You'll forget your progress. So you'll run back to the same old drug. Validation, approval, external numbers. If you want quiet discipline to last, you must change what you measure. You have a choice. Keep letting the world be your scoreboard, or build your own in private. Let's expose how you've been living. You post your work, a video, piece of writing, a photo, product. Immediately you check. How many views? How many likes? Who commented? Who shared it? If the response is strong, you feel high. You feel motivated. You feel like, yes, this is working. If the response is weak, you feel low. You feel embarrassed. You feel like deleting it. You think, maybe I'm not good enough. Look at what's happening. You're putting your self-belief in numbers you do not control. Algorithms, other people's moods, other people's time, other people's tastes. You don't control any of that, but you made it your scoreboard. So of course you feel unstable. Of course you feel insecure. Of course you feel up and down. You have been measuring reactions, not work. You have to flip that. Count actions, not approval. Let's take a writer as an example. Writer A lives on external validation. They write sometimes, but they obsess all the time. They refresh stats. They check views. They check sales. They Google themselves. If a piece doesn't perform, they collapse. They stop writing for days or weeks. They call it creative block, but it's really validation withdrawal. Their equation is simple. High reactions equals, I'm good. Low reactions equals, I'm trash. Their output follows that emotion. Inconsistent, fragile, controlled by strangers. Writer B is different. Writer B might still care about results, but they don't measure themselves by them. Writer B tracks one simple thing daily. Words written. 500 words. 1,000 words. 2,000 words. Every day they sit down and write, no matter how the last post did. They log it. Date. Word count. No drama. Just data. They might check views once in a while, but their mood is tied to the question, did I write today? Did I keep my streak? Did I honor my craft? They are counting actions, not approval. Fast forward 1 year. Writer A has 10 pieces. Constant self-doubt. Roller coaster emotions. Writer B has hundreds of pieces. A mountain of practice. A sharper voice. Real skills. Same dream. Different scoreboard. You have a choice. Do you want to be writer A or writer B? Now plug this into your life. Jim. Most people track compliments. People notice my body yet? Anyone said I look slimmer? Do my clothes look different in photos? If no one says anything, they lose fire. They quit. But the disciplined one track sessions. How many workouts this month? How many steps per day? How many days did I hit my plan? They might not see huge change in the mirror yet, but they see the chain of action. Session, session, session. They're still not impressed with their results yet, but they're impressed with their consistency. That keeps them going. That builds them. Count actions, not approval. Business. Most people track revenue on day one. Or worse, they track likes on promotional posts. If one promo flops, maybe this isn't for me. If they don't buy right away, I'm a failure. They're tracking reactions. So they die early. A builder tracks actions. How many people did I reach out to? How many offers did I make? How many products did I improve? How many learning hours did I log this week? They know revenue lags. They know respect lags. They know success lags. But action is today. Action is now. Action is measurable. And action is under your control. You have a choice. Do you want your effort to depend on a number you can't control? Or a number you can? That's the key. So how do you do this practically? You build a simple system. Not fancy. Not complicated. Simple. Because you don't need pretty. You need consistent. Here are 3 easy tools you can choose from. A wall calendar. A habit app. A notebook. Pick one. Or 2. Whatever you'll actually use. The idea is the same. 1 tick for every completed session. Not for thinking. Not for planning. Not for almost starting. For doing. You do a workout? Tick. You sit for your deep work block? Tick. You write your 500 words? Tick. You do your language practice? Tick. 1 tick equals 1 action. 1 rep. 1 brick in the wall you're building. That's your scoreboard. Think about a wall calendar. You hang it where you can see it. On your door. On your fridge. Above your desk. You choose your key habits. Maybe 3. Deep work block. Workout or movement. Sleep by your chosen time. Every day you complete 1. You mark an X on that day for that habit. You create chains. Day after day. X after X. A line of proof builds up. Then something shifts in your head. You don't just want the result anymore. You want to keep the chain. You want your streak. Miss a day? Fine. You see the gap. You don't want 2 gaps. The calendar is not judging you. It's just telling the truth. Clear. Simple. Honest. Count actions, not approval. Or use a notebook. 1 page per month. List your days down the side. Next to each day, write your metrics. Words written. Minutes trained. Sets or reps. Pages read. Hours of deep work. At the end of each day, you fill it in. No long journaling. No emotional essays. Just 500 words. 45-minute workout. 60 minutes deep work. That's it. Over weeks, that page becomes a mirror. Are you who you say you are? Or are you just talking? You don't need their permission to track yourself. You don't need their applause. You don't need anyone to see it. This is between you and your standards. Here's what private tracking does. 1. It makes progress visible. You stop saying, "Nothing's changing," when the page shows 20 sessions this month, compared to 3 last month. 2. It makes progress addictive. Your brain gets a hit from the tick, from the chain, from the number going up. I did it. Again. Again. That's a healthier dopamine than likes. 3. It makes excuses harder. When you see empty days, blank spaces, broken chains, You can't lie to yourself. No, you're not unlucky. You're inconsistent. Or if you are consistent but results are slow, you at least know you're not crazy. You're putting the work in. You have a choice. Let your emotions decide if you're doing enough, or let your data tell you the truth. There's something else. When you measure your work, you become calmer about other people's reactions, because you already know what today was. You don't need the internet to tell you if you're serious or not. You saw the tick. You saw the word count. You saw the hours. So when a post flops, you don't collapse. You think, okay, my job is to keep producing. Today's metric is, did I create? Not, did they clap? When a week of effort doesn't explode into success, you don't throw it all away. You zoom out. Last month versus this month. Last year versus this year. You see that your actions are becoming who you are. You're building a body of work, a body of discipline, a body of effort that's bigger than any one reaction. Count actions, not approval. Let's be honest. You've been scoreboard addicted. You've let views, likes, and DMs decide your mood. You've based your self-worth on numbers that change every 24 hours. It's time to grow out of that. You're not a child on the playground anymore, needing a gold star every time you try. You are an adult building a life. Adults build their own scoreboards. Adults track the work. Adults can say, today was a win because I honored my standards, even if nobody else saw it. You don't need their permission to graduate from external validation. You don't need their cheering section to do what needs to be done. You just need a pen, a system, and honesty. Here's what I want you to do right after this chapter. 1. Choose your main area from your disappear phase goal. Body, business, skill, mind. 2. Define 1 to 3 daily actions that matter most there. Example, 45 minutes workout, 60 minutes deep work, 500 words. 3. Choose your tracking tool. Calendar, app, notebook. 4. Start today, not Monday, not when things calm down. Today, 1 action, 1 tick, and then tomorrow, and the next day. Day by day, you will build a private scoreboard that nobody can take from you. If the likes are high, you work. If the likes are low, you work. If nobody's watching, you work. Because the goal isn't for them to react. The goal is for you to become. Your takeaway from this chapter, your feelings about your progress, have been controlled by the wrong numbers. You fix that by changing what you count. Count actions, not approval. Sessions, hours, pages, representatives, kept promises. Private tracking makes progress real. It makes progress addictive. It makes progress sustainable because it no longer depends on constant feedback. You have a choice every single day. Refresh their reactions or record your actions. Choose your actions. In the next chapter, we're going to handle the emotional side of this quiet path. Because now you're working in silence. You're guarding your time. You're tracking your own progress. That can feel lonely. So next, you'll learn how to stay alone without feeling lonely. How to turn solitude into strength. So you don't run back to noise and validation. Just because the quiet starts to feel uncomfortable. Chapter 10, Stay alone without feeling lonely. You weren't prepared for this part. You fixed your standards. You built your routine. You started guarding your time. You began disappearing into your work. And suddenly, it got quiet. Less messages, less invites, less noise. And underneath all that, a feeling you don't want to admit. Loneliness. You need to hear this. You're not alone. You're aligned. Asterisk, asterisk. That's the key. Quiet discipline has a cost. And this is it. When you stop living like everyone else, you stop always moving with everyone else. You say no to some parties. You say no to late night calls. You say no to random hangouts. You say no to aimless scrolling at 1 a.m. And at first, it feels like you're losing everything. You're not. You're losing distraction. You're losing noise. You're losing what kept you weak. But your emotions don't know that yet. They only know, this feels different. This feels empty. You have a choice. Fill that new quiet with self-pity, or fill it with self-respect. Let's be very clear. Being alone is a fact. Feeling lonely is a story. Being alone is physical. Nobody's in the room. No one's blowing up your phone. No one's asking you to come out. Lonely is mental. Nobody cares. I'm missing out. I'm behind. I'm being left. But are those thoughts always true? Or are they just your brain reacting to missing its usual drug? Remember, you used to medicate yourself with noise, scrolling, chats, drama, events, background sound 24/7. Now you've taken some of that away. Of course, your brain screams. It's withdrawal. You are not broken for feeling this. You're detoxing. You're not alone. You're aligned. Picture this. It's Friday night. You've had a long week. You're tired. You've promised yourself, tonight I stick to my routine. Good meal, deep stretch, plan tomorrow, early sleep. Then your phone lights up. Pull up, we're outside. We're turning up tonight. Where you at? Don't be boring. You look at your screen. You feel that tug. You can almost feel the warmth of being around people. You can hear the laughs in your head. You have a choice. Say yes. Go out. Post the stories. Feel included. Come home at 2 or 3 a.m. Wake up wrecked. Plans destroyed. Next day sloppy. Routine broken. Or say no. Stay home. Stick to your plan. Do your stretch. Plan your day. Sleep on time. Wake up clear. One choice gives you a few hours of not feeling alone. The other builds a life where you're proud to be with yourself. That's the key. In that quiet moment, you will feel lonely. The old you got validation by being everywhere. The new you gets transformation by not needing to be. You're not alone. You're aligned. You have to stop calling this punishment. You're not grounded. You're not exiled. You're not being rejected by life. You are in training camp. Think of any elite athlete, any high performer, any world-class artist. There is always a season where they go away to work. Training camp, off-season, writing retreat, studio lock-in. They train twice a day. They study film. They lift. They run. They sleep early. They eat clean. They are not at every party. They are not at every dinner. They are not up all night on FaceTime. Are they being punished? No, they are preparing. Their temporary solitude is not a prison. It's a launch pad. You don't need their permission to enter your own training camp. You don't need them to understand why you're less available right now. You don't need to apologize for wanting more out of your life. You're not alone. You're aligned. So what do you actually do with the quiet? You stop using it to beat yourself up. You stop scrolling through other people's lives pretending yours is nothing. You stop sitting there thinking, nobody wants me around. You start using solitude as a tool. 3 main uses: reflection, planning, self-respect. Reflection means you look at your life honestly. What did I do today? Where did I keep my standards? Where did I break them? What patterns am I seeing this week? No filters, no performance, just truth. Planning means you don't drift through your days. You ask, what matters tomorrow? What are my top 3 moves? What do I need to prepare so I don't sabotage myself? You move from reacting to directing. Self-respect means you do things in solitude that benefit you. You stretch. You read. You journal. You cook something real. You clean your space. You take care of your body. Not to post. Not to prove. But because you deserve a functional, cared-for life. You're not alone. You're aligned. A big part of your loneliness is not that others left you. It's that you don't know how to be with yourself yet. You've been running from your own company for years. Anything to not sit with your thoughts. Anything to not feel your emotions. Anything to not face your unfinished business. So the second the noise disappears, your mind freaks out. This is uncomfortable. This is empty. We need a distraction. Now, you have a choice. Shove something into that space. Food, phone, people, or breathe and stay. Sit with yourself for once. Listen to what's going on in your own head. Let it talk. Then guide it. Ask yourself, what am I actually feeling? What do I actually need? What would future me be proud I did with this next hour? This is how you turn solitude into strength. You're not alone. You're aligned. Let's be practical. Here are some ways to make solitude useful instead of painful. 1. Create a quiet hour ritual. Pick 1 hour most days where you are alone on purpose. No scrolling, no TV, no music with lyrics blaring. Just you and something that grows you. Walk, journal, stretch, reflect, plan. At first, it will feel strange. Your brain will crave stimulation. Stay anyway. This is your self-respect hour. 2. Limit comparison triggers. Nothing intensifies loneliness like watching other people live 24/7. You know the cycle. You say no to a party. You stay home. Then you open your phone. Story after story of everyone out. Laughing, dancing, drinking. You feel stupid. You feel left out. You feel like your choice was wrong. So make it easier on yourself. During your training season, reduce your exposure to that. You don't have to watch everyone's every move. You don't have to tap every bubble. You don't have to join every joke thread. You're not missing as much as you think. Most of it is recycled. Same places, same people, same drinks, same 3 songs. Your growth is somewhere else. 3. Speak to yourself with respect. Stop talking to yourself like you're a loser just because you're not out 5 nights a week. You turned down a random invite to protect your sleep? Respect. You logged off and read instead of endless scrolling? Respect. You stayed in and worked on your craft? Respect. You're not avoiding life. You're creating one. You don't need their permission to treat your discipline as something impressive. Even if no one understands it yet, you have to understand it. You're not alone. You're aligned. Here's another truth. Some people will fall off when you change. Not because they hate you, but because your new life doesn't match their old patterns. If your bond was built on complaining, on partying, on gossip, on killing time together, then when you stop doing that, the bond weakens. That hurts. You will grieve some connections. That's real. But ask yourself, were those connections growing you or just distracting you? You have a choice. Chase everyone who drifts away, or trust that the people meant for your future will respect your process or meet you later, stronger. Temporary solitude is not proof you're unlovable. It's proof you're brave enough to leave environments that don't support your future. You're not alone. You're aligned. Remember, this is a season, not a sentence. You're not vowing to be a cave person forever. You're giving yourself a window to build new foundations. Just like an athlete doesn't stay in an isolated camp their whole career, you won't always be this tucked away. There will be seasons of more social life, more travel, more laughter with people you value. But here's the difference. When you come out of this training camp, you'll be a different person in those rooms. More grounded, more confident, more stable, less needy, less triggered, less thirsty for attention. Why? Because you learned how to be with yourself first. Because you stopped using people to escape your own life. Because you realized you're not alone. You're aligned. So when the quiet hits, and it will, remind yourself, this is not punishment. This is preparation. This is not abandonment. This is training. You have a choice every lonely feeling night. Run back to noise to prove to yourself you're not alone. Or sit with the discomfort long enough to see that you are still here, still breathing, still valuable, even without the crowd. One choice keeps you dependent on others to feel okay. The other turns you into someone who can walk into any room alone and still feel whole. That's the key. Your takeaway from this chapter: quiet discipline will feel isolating at first. That doesn't mean it's wrong. It doesn't mean you're abandoned. It doesn't mean you're destined to be lonely. It means you're in training camp. Use solitude for reflection, planning, and self-respect, not self-pity. Limit comparison. Build rituals that make your alone time productive and peaceful. Talk to yourself like someone who is becoming, not someone who's been left behind. Every time you feel that sting of, "I'm alone," answer it with the truth. You're not alone. You're aligned. Asterisk asterisk. In the next chapter, we'll talk about what happens after this quiet season. You won't stay hidden forever. You'll learn how to return quietly and let success be loud. How to walk back into rooms without bragging, without over-explaining, and let your results, your presence, and your peace speak for you, louder than any announcement ever could. Chapter 11, Return quietly. Let success be loud. You've been gone, not from life, from the noise, from the constant updates, from the performance. You built standards. You built routines. You guarded your time. You disappeared into your work. Now something new is happening. People are going to start noticing. Your body is different. Your energy is different. Your money is different. Your eyes are different. You walk in the room, and the room feels it. This is the moment you've been fantasizing about. Wait until they see me. Wait until I come back. Wait until I show them what I did. And this is also the moment most people mess it up. They ruin quiet progress with loud ego. You're not going to do that. Remember this line. Let them notice. You don't need to announce. Asterisk asterisk. That's the key. You don't have to come back with a speech. You don't have to come back with a performance. You don't have to come back with a monologue about your grind. You just have to come back. Present. Grounded. Stable. Your success will talk. Your presence will talk. Your calm will talk. You don't need to. You have a choice. Return like a commercial, or return like a fact. Commercials scream. Facts just exist. Be a fact. Let's look at this in real life. You've been gone from a friend group for a few months. Less active in the chat. Fewer nights out. Less drama. You walk back into a gathering. You're leaner. You're clearer. You're not as reactive. You're not desperate for laughs. Someone says, "Damn, you've changed. You look good. Where you been? Why you been ghost?" Here's where the old you would show up. You'd say too much. You'd explain too hard. You'd turn it into a movie. I had to cut everybody off. I was in my villain arc. I had to prove everybody wrong. Y'all doubted me, so I had to disappear and grind. Sounds strong. Feels powerful, looks proud, but it's still about them. It's still about being seen. It's still about getting a reaction. Quiet discipline is not about revenge. It's about respect, self-respect. So what does the new you say? Simple, truthful, humble and clear. I was working. I've been focused on some things. I needed to get myself together. Had to dial in for a bit. Short, solid, no drama. If they ask more, answer more. If they move on, let it move on. You don't need to force them to understand. You don't need them to clap. You don't need to give a TED talk about your disappearance. Let them notice. You don't need to announce. Asterisk asterisk. Here's the danger with coming back loud. You slip right back into the same addiction you were breaking. The addiction to attention. The addiction to being seen as disciplined. Instead of actually being disciplined, you start doing things for the reaction again. Not for the standard. Not for the work. You say, "I'm locked in," because you want them to say, "Damn, you're serious." You tell the story of your grind. More than you actually keep grinding. You return to the old pattern, just with slightly better results this time. That's not what you're here for. You're here to be different, not just look different. You have a choice. Come back hungry for praise, or come back rooted in peace. Real flex? Not "look at me now." Real flex is, "I don't need you to look at me to know I'm good." Let's talk about social media for a second. You've been posting less, or you've been quiet. Now you've changed. Your body's better. Your money's better. Your environment is better. The urge is strong. Post the before and after. Post the story, "Where I've been." Post the long caption they can swipe through and say yes to. You can share. There's nothing evil about posting, But you need to check your motive. Ask yourself honestly, am I sharing to inspire, or am I sharing to be praised? Am I updating because it's useful, or because I'm scared nobody noticed I changed? If it's ego, slow down. If it's revenge, pause. You don't need their permission to have improved. You don't need their confirmation that it counted. You don't need an audience to validate your growth. Your life is the proof. Your peace is the proof. Your consistency is the proof. Let them notice. You don't need to announce. Asterisk, asterisk. Here's something you have to drop. The I'll show them fantasy. I'll get rich and flex on them. I'll get in shape and make them regret it. I'll come back up and rub it in everyone's face. Sounds like fuel. Sounds motivating. But it's a trap. Because you're still living for them. They still control your direction. They still control your emotional life. You're not free. You're just successful and still chained. Your life is not a courtroom. And you're not the attorney trying to win a case. For your worth. You're done begging people to admit they were wrong about you. You're done trying to make them regret doubting you. Let them think whatever they want. Real power? You changed your body, and you're not obsessed with who sees. You changed your money, and you're not oversharing every purchase. You changed your mindset, and you're not making speeches about being above everyone now. You just live. You have a choice. Live in quiet freedom, or live in loud ego. The real flex is peace. The real flex is stability. The real flex is consistency, not revenge. So how do you walk back into the world? With 3 things: calm, clarity, boundaries. Calm means you don't rush to overcompensate. You're not talking extra to prove you're confident. You're not performing alpha energy or that girl energy to show your upgrade. You breathe. You listen. You speak when needed. You're present. You let your posture, your eyes, your energy speak for you. No need to decorate it. Clarity means you know what actually changed. You're not vague. You're not pretending it was magic. You know, I slept better. I worked consistently. I trained my mind. I cut distractions. I built routines. So when people ask, how did you do it? You can answer simply, I got serious about my sleep and my training. I started working on my skill every day. I focused on my money and cut a lot of nonsense. That's it. You don't have to go viral with your explanation. Boundaries means you don't let the old world drag you back. Just because you're back around people doesn't mean your standards go away. If the old invites come, late nights, pointless drama, extra obligations, you still say no when you need to. You still protect your time. You still guard your routines. You didn't build this new you to throw it away. For the comfort of the old crowd. Let them notice. You don't need to announce. Expect curiosity. People will ask, where you been at? Why you never come around? Are you too good for us now? Oh, you changed. Here's how you respond. With humility, with clarity, without guilt. You do not owe anyone a self-attack to make them comfortable. You don't say, yeah, I know I'm fake. Yeah, I've been acting weird. I know I'm lame now, I don't go out. No, you say, I've been working on some things. I needed to focus for a while. I had to tighten up my life. If they respect it, good. If they joke about it, smile. You don't have to debate. You are not on trial. If someone says, you act different, you can say, yeah, I'm trying to be. End of conversation. You don't need to defend your growth. You don't need their permission to keep going. You don't need to shrink to fit their memory of you. Let them notice. You don't need to announce. Here's a mindset shift you need. You're not better than anyone now. You're just better than your old self. That's it. You're not coming back to judge. You're not coming back to preach. You're not coming back to look down on anyone. If you do that, you become the same person you hated, the one who looked down on you before you grew. Instead, you come back as proof. Living proof that a person can quietly go work on themselves and come back different. You're not screaming, do what I did. You're showing, this is what's possible. That energy is powerful. That energy is attractive. That energy is respectful. Ego divides. Example invites. The real flex is not, I'm above you. The real flex is, I mastered myself, and I don't need to prove it to you. A warning: when you come back upgraded, two things will try to pull you back. 1. The urge to relax and stop doing what got you here. 2. The urge to perform your new identity instead of living it. We'll talk more about not going back in the next chapter, but see it early. You worked hard in private. You built systems. You built discipline. You built quiet strength. Now the spotlight returns, a little. People notice. They compliment. Your ego says, we made it. We can chill now. We can talk more than we work now. Don't fall for that. You're not done. You're just visible. Visibility is not victory. You know what you did to get here. You know what you need to keep doing. The goal isn't to arrive at a new image. The goal is to live in a new standard. Let them notice. You don't need to announce. Your takeaway from this chapter: you don't have to come back loud. You don't have to come back arrogant. You don't have to come back with revenge. You come back real. Let your body talk. Let your calm talk. Let your work talk. Let your money talk. Let your consistency talk. When people ask, you answer with humility and clarity. I was working. You remember. Let them notice. You don't need to announce. Asterisk asterisk. The real flex is peace. The real flex is consistency. The real flex is results that no one can deny, even if you never brag. In the final chapter, we're going to lock this in, because coming back different is one thing. Staying different is another. Next, you'll learn how to never go back to the old you, how to protect this new identity, how to keep your promises to yourself long-term, and how to make sure this wasn't just a phase, but the moment your life permanently turned. Chapter 12, Never go back to the old you. You made it this far. You've changed more than you admit. You're waking up different. You're thinking different. You're moving different. People feel it. You're not who you were when you pressed play on this audiobook. That's good. But this is where the real test begins. Because the biggest threat to the new you is not failure. It's small success, a little progress, a little transformation, a little validation. And then you relax. You start talking again. You start performing again. You lose the edge that got you here. You slowly slide right back into the old you. You have a choice. Let that happen. Or draw a hard line today and say, I am never going back. That's the key. You've seen this story. Maybe you've lived it. Someone hits a milestone. They lose 20 pounds. They make their first real money. They finish a big project. They finally feel disciplined for a month. And what do? They start talking. A lot. They brag. They post constantly. They tell everyone about their new lifestyle. They start giving advice after 3 weeks of change. They get high on their own progress. I'm different now. I got this. I'm locked in forever. Then slowly, they stop doing the boring work. They loosen their standards. They break their routines, just this once. They skip tracking. They stop measuring. They start chasing attention again. A few months later, they're back where they started. Or worse, because now they don't just have bad habits. They also have proof they can't trust themselves long-term. This is what you must avoid. You did not come this far to become a one-season transformation story. You're not a phase. You're not a comeback arc. You're not a temporary character. You are building a new identity. You have a choice. Be the person who changed for a little while, or be the person who stayed changed. Here's the truth nobody likes to hear. Success is rented. The rent is due every day. You hit a goal? Good. Celebrate for a second. Then ask, can I maintain this? Can I build on this? You built a new body? You still have to train. You built a new income? You still have to work. You built new discipline? You still have to choose it. There is no level you reach where you're allowed to go back to your old standards and somehow keep new results. Read that again. You cannot keep a new life with old habits. If you go back to who you were, You will go back to what you had. That's the rule. You have a choice. Treat this as a cute chapter in your story. Or treat this as the line where everything before becomes old life, and everything after becomes new life. So how do you never go back? You build a non-negotiable code. Not vibes, not mood, not "I'll try my best." A code. A set of rules your future self lives by. No matter how successful you get, no matter how much attention you receive, no matter who is or isn't watching, your code is simple. No public promises. No empty declarations. Only work. You don't go back to announcing your comebacks. You don't go back to using social media as a diary of your discipline. You don't go back to needing everyone to see every good thing you're doing. You let your work speak. Always. Especially when you're winning. Here's your new line. Stay quiet. Stay hungry. Stay disciplined. Asterisk asterisk. Say it again. Stay quiet. Stay hungry. Stay disciplined. Asterisk asterisk. That's your shield. Against becoming soft. Let's break down your non-negotiable code. You can write this down. You should write this down. 1. No public promises. Asterisk asterisk. You've done enough of those. I'm back. New era. This time I'm serious. All 2024 I'm locked in. Stop. From now on, your mouth does not get to spend discipline you haven't earned. If you are changing, they will see it. You have a choice. Put energy into talking about the future, or put energy into building it. No more public promises. Only private commitments. 2. No empty declarations. Asterisk asterisk. You don't get to call yourself what you're not living. I'm a grinder. I'm disciplined. I don't play about my life. If today's actions don't match those statements, don't say them. You can say, I'm becoming disciplined. I'm working on my grind. I'm learning to not play about my life. Honest, humble, grounded. Your code. I describe myself based on patterns, not fantasies. 3. Only work. Asterisk asterisk. Your proof from now on is what you repeatedly do, not what you post, not what you promise, not what you feel like. Only work. You feel off? Work at 50%. You feel amazing? Work hard. You feel invisible? Work anyway. This is the spine of your new life. Stay quiet. Stay hungry. Stay disciplined. The old you was addicted to highs. The high of starting. The high of being motivated. The high of attention. The high of posting progress. The high of people clapping. The new you is addicted to something else. The new you is addicted to consistency. You want streaks, not spikes. Streaks of days you showed up. Streaks of weeks you honored your routine. Streaks of months you lived by standards. Streaks of years you didn't abandon yourself. That's the real high. Seeing a calendar full of reps. Seeing a notebook full of work logs. Seeing a bank account slowly climb because you stayed disciplined. You don't need their permission to crave that. You don't need their applause to keep doing that. You don't need a hype video to maintain that. You have data. You have your code. You have you. One more danger you need to be aware of. When you level up, new people will show up. Some will genuinely respect you. Some will genuinely support you. Others, they'll try to drag you back into performance. Come talk about your story on this. Tell everyone your secret. Post about your grind every day. It's inspiring. Flex more. Let them know. Again, there's nothing wrong with sharing. But you must check. Is this aligned with my code? Or is this trying to pull me into ego? Remember, the real flex is not, I'm loud about my growth. The real flex is, I kept my growth going, even after people started noticing. You have a choice. Turn this new life into a brand, or keep it as your baseline. Stay quiet. Stay hungry. Stay disciplined. Asterisk asterisk. Let's talk about the mindset you need now. Before, you wanted to become the new you. Now, you must learn to protect the new you. That means, you still live by standards, not moods. You still train in boredom, not hype. You still build and follow your routine. You still guard your time like it's sacred. You still measure your work, not their reactions. You still use solitude as training, not torture. You still return quietly and let success be loud. Nothing actually changes. The game doesn't flip because you hit a few goals. You don't graduate from discipline. You don't outgrow the basics. The basics are what keep you here. You've seen what the old you leads to. You've seen what happens when you let moods run you, when you live for attention, when you talk more than you act. Don't romanticize that life again just because you're comfortable now. Comfort is exactly when people self-destruct. You have a choice. Use comfort as a base to build higher, or use comfort as an excuse to slide back down. Here is a simple exercise to lock this in. Write 2 lists. List 1, the old me. List 2, the new me. Under the old me, write out the patterns. Talked big, acted small. Needed attention to feel worthy. Quit when bored. Let moods decide everything. Broke promises to myself. Lived without structure. Let everyone access my time. Under the new me, write the patterns you are living now. Talks less, does more. Craves discipline, not attention. Trains in boredom. Lives by standards, not moods. Keeps promises to myself. Has a ruthless routine. Guards my time. Measures actions, not approval. Uses solitude for growth. Returns quietly. Lets success speak. Then write this at the bottom. I choose the new me. Every day. No matter how I feel. No matter who's watching. You don't need their permission to make that choice. You don't need anyone to sign off on this identity. You created it. You own it. Now you must protect it. Stay quiet. Stay hungry. Stay disciplined. Asterisk, asterisk. We're gonna finish where we started, with the core mantra of this entire audiobook. You didn't come here for background noise. You came here for a new operating system. So let's write it into your mind one last time. Do it in silence. Stop announcing. Stop performing. Stop begging for validation you can give yourself. Disappear into your work. Cut the noise. Cut the drama. Cut the addiction to being constantly seen. Go into your routines, your standards, your deep work, your training camp. Return with results. Come back with a new body, a new skill, a new stability, a new level of peace. Let them notice. You don't need to announce. And above all, let your discipline, not your words, define you. That is who you are now. Not the old story. Not the old habits. Not the old identity that lived on hype, chaos, and empty promises. You are the person who keeps your word in the dark. You are the person who builds when no one claps. You are the person who can be alone and still move forward. You are the person whose routine is their real identity. You have a choice after this ends. You can treat this like inspiration, or you can treat this like instruction. If it's inspiration, you'll feel good for a day. If it's instruction, you'll live different for years. That's the key. So take this with you. Stay quiet. Stay hungry. Stay disciplined. Asterisk, asterisk. Do it in silence. Disappear into your work. Return with results. And from this moment on, let your discipline, not your words, define your life. Conclusion, let your discipline define you. If you've really been listening, you are not the same person who started this. Your surroundings might look the same. You may still live in the same place, work the same job, see the same faces. But your perspective is different now. You see your old behavior with new eyes. You recognize how often you chased the feeling of progress instead of the reality. You see how much energy you've spent being seen as focused instead of simply being focused. You've walked through a full system for quiet discipline. You learned that your habit of announcing "I'm back" and "new era" was giving you a fake sense of accomplishment with no real change behind it. And you accepted that from now on it has to be no more announcements, only evidence. You understood the power of letting your work introduce you before you ever open your mouth. You stopped believing that another speech would convince people to take you seriously, and you started to see that only repeated action can do that. You faced the hard truth that you were more hooked on attention than on actual progress, and you started to shift that craving. You saw clearly how attention is a drug, discipline is a muscle, and you began choosing the muscle even when the drug looked easier. You stopped telling yourself that your feelings are the final decision maker and started building standards for sleep, work, and health. You learned that feelings are allowed, excuses are not, and that you don't follow your feelings eventually follow your standards. You accepted boredom as part of the path. You stopped fantasizing about constant excitement and started to understand that boredom is where amateurs quit and disciplined people are born. You learned how real change happens in those dull, repetitive, unseen sessions you used to walk away from. You then built routines, simple, repeatable anchors in your mornings and evenings, and accepted that your routine is your real identity, not your declarations, not your potential. You started guarding your time, seeing clearly that if everyone can access you whenever they want, your future is being slowly drained away. You took in the line, if they don't respect your time, they don't respect your future, and more importantly, if you don't respect your time, you don't respect your own future. You stepped into the idea of a focused 3 to 6 month season where you disappear not from life, but from excess noise, and you understood what it means to disappear into your work and reappear unrecognizable. You learned to stop letting likes, views, and replies dictate your self-worth and sense of progress. You built tools to track hours, reps, pages, and sessions, and you started to count actions, not approval, in every area that matters. You faced the emotional side of quiet discipline. How turning things down and protecting your routine can feel like loneliness at first, and you reframed that feeling by reminding yourself you're not alone, you're aligned. You started to see solitude not as punishment, but as training camp. You then practiced coming back into the world differently, without bragging, without revenge speeches, without over-explaining. You realized you don't need to scream that you've changed, you just have to be changed. You accepted that the right approach is simple. Let your body, your calm, your money, your focus speak first, and remember, let them notice, you don't need to announce. Finally, you built a non-negotiable code so you don't slide back into the old version of yourself the moment small success arrives. You accepted that success is rented and the rent is due daily. You committed to a code of no public promises, no empty declarations, only work, and you closed with a mindset that protects everything you've built. Stay quiet, stay hungry, stay disciplined. Now, none of this is magic. You will still wake up some days and not feel like the new you. You will still feel the urge to perform, to post, to announce. You will still be tempted to lower your standards once things get more comfortable. The difference is that you won't be blind to it anymore. You will recognize when you're slipping back into old patterns. You'll hear the old voice say, "Let me tell everyone what I'm about to do." And you'll know that's not who you are now. From this point on, every day becomes a simple fork in the road. Old you or new you, old code or new code. Old you announces, seeks attention, lives by moods, quits when bored, lets everyone and everything into your schedule, and needs validation to feel like you're doing something. New you says less and does more, craves discipline, lives by standards, repeats the boring reps, protects your time, works in silence, tracks your actions, uses solitude to grow, and lets results reveal the story over time. The question is not, will I ever slip? The question is, what do I do after I slip? The old you turned one missed day into a missing week, and one missed week into a dead dream. The new you corrects quickly. You don't dramatize it, you don't create a story around it, and you don't make another speech about coming back. You simply return to your standards and keep going. If you want something concrete to walk away with, here it is. For the next 30 days, make this your personal challenge, no public promises. No "I'm back" posts. No long declarations about what you're about to do. Just work. Follow your 3 written standards every day as best you can. Show up for your deep work window at least 5 days each week. Track your actions somewhere physical, a calendar, a notebook, an app. Protect your time with at least one boundary every day. And give yourself at least a small block of intentional solitude for reflection, planning, or honest self-check-in instead of mindless consumption. At the end of those 30 days, don't ask, "Do they see a difference?" Ask, "Can I see a difference?" Look at your calendar, your notes, your habits. You'll know the truth. You won't need anyone else to define your progress for you. So as we close this audiobook, I want you to carry this code with you, not as a quote to post, but as a rule to live. Do it in silence. Disappear into your work. Return with results. Let your discipline, not your words, define you. You've spent enough energy talking about who you're going to be. From here forward, let your actions introduce you. Let your routines describe you. Let your results speak for you. And whenever you feel that urge to announce, to perform, to prove, remind yourself of the path you chose. Stay quiet. Stay hungry. Stay disciplined. You don't need to tell anyone that this audiobook changed you. If you really live it, they'll see.